There we go. Trying to bring it up on my screen. Not seeing it yet. YouTube. I see it on my phone, but I need to see it on my computer screen. There we are. Okay, I got the volume muted. I'm setting the chat to live chat. And it's asking me to start the goal. Hey, everybody, just give me a second to set up really quick. I have to try to make this one short because I need to eat. There's a lot I need to do before I go to my next kidney appointment tomorrow. And since I won't be able to come on the air most likely, unless it's really late in the day, I decided to come on and do a little talking today about this. There's actually a lot to talk about, but I did a live last night, if you didn't see it, regarding the latest on the Eagles. But right now we're going to talk about Nancy. Jane Rice, Kathy X50, and Deanna, welcome in. Let's see if we can get anybody to come in here. Respect Farm Life. Putting up the custom channel emojis. You know I got a new one yesterday. Or the night before last, actually. I'm up to 13. But it says I need something like, I think it's like 16 more subscribers to get to the 14th emoji. And yesterday, I gave out 5 memberships and one of my mods gave out 10. So we added 15 more members yesterday. And it's still like a colossal number away before I can get the next emoji. Like, are you kidding me? In fact, let me check really quick. I couldn't believe it. Like, because I thought, oh, wow, I got that many members in one day. Like, it's probably going to help me. It's probably going to help me get another emoji. But did that happen? Nope. Because it jumped a lot the last 2 days. Let's see what it says. Okay, it says 12 more members needed in order to gain 1 more emoji, which would be, in order to unlock number 14, I have to have 12 more members. And I don't have any more memberships to hand out because YouTube only allows me 10 per month, and they're already gone. So for those of you who are members, thank you. I hope you choose to renew. But thank you for putting those up. Respect Farm Life. Got 29 people in the house. Let me just get it started here. I'm April Davis, PI. I am a California licensed, but mostly retired, private investigator. I live in LA. You will see there's Tucson in the background. That's the Nancy Guthrie estate. And that's because we're going to talk a little bit about the Nancy Guthrie case. If you guys have been watching my videos since day 1, actually my first video on this was February the 2nd. So technically that was day 2 of this case. We're at day number 197. I have talked many times, including in one of my long form videos about this case where I did a suspect video. I talked about the 6 degrees of separation. And maybe I used the wrong terminology because this article that I'm going to go over with you that's just come out, they talk about the 1 degree of separation in Tucson. And I think whoever wrote that article, since they're a professional writer and I'm just, like a semi-professional YouTuber, I'm going to go now with what they say. We're going to call it the 1 degree of separation rather than the 6 degrees of separation in this crazy case. This case should have been solved in week 1, in my opinion. There was plenty of evidence and it just wasn't protected. The crime scene was released too soon. Hello, Connie. I was just telling everybody that I added another emoji, not last night, but the night before. And thanks to you, and then the 5 extra memberships that I threw in, we got 11 new members yesterday. But even with, we had 15 new ones, 10 from you, 5 from me. So that was 15. And apparently I need, I just read it out loud. I think it was 12, something like 12 more before they'll allow me to unlock emoji number 14. Like, is that crazy? There's like 87 members right now. And I need 12 more just to unlock 1 more emoji, which I just think That's insane. But thank you for all those memberships, Connie. You've done way too much. Julie, welcome in. Good evening, everyone from Cleveland, says Linda Brady. How's the weather in Cleveland? It's really hot and humid today in LA. I know, Patricia, she says, congrats on your new members. Keep going. I know. And a lot of those ones that are gifted, some of them stay, but most of them are just like, hey, thanks for the free membership, and they'll never see me again. And then, of course, if you saw one of my prior videos, I got a hate letter, or a comment, because some lady just like totally freaked out that she got a membership. Oh no, Connie, you don't need to do it. Connie, oh my God. Let me give you a hype. We haven't even started yet. Oh my God. Dana Gopner, DC Martell, George Strait, MS Cindy 64, and another Connie. Oh my God. Connie I10. We have 3 Connies now. Connie LA, Connie E, and Connie I. That's crazy. And you know what? I don't recognize any of these names except George Strait 1613, but that's not the same George Strait, I'm sure. Because there's a singer named George Strait. Don't even know if he's still with the living. Dana, is it Dana Goepner? I don't know how to pronounce it. 709, DC Martell, George Strait, MS Cindy, and Connie. That's just too funny. Yeah, you didn't need to do that. Thanks for coming in, Allie. Yeah, welcome new members. Everybody give Connie a thanks. Let me just read this article really quick because I do need to eat today soon. Insider reveals how Nancy Guthrie probe was compromised from the beginning, you think? And places blame on embattled figure. Well, I wonder who that is. Anybody got any guesses? Put it up on the screen. Who will be the embattled figure in this story? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. The Nancy Guthrie case was compromised from the very beginning by the investigating team's lack of experience, a whistleblower reportedly said as he placed the blame on, guess who? Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos. Yeah, Patricia, ding, 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 ding. Weather here in Cleveland is a little humid. Oh, well, it's a lot humid for LA today, and it's just, I don't like it. So I've heard this guy's name before, but he basically said he placed the blame on Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos' alleged incompetence. Alleged? Hey, Kelsers. Thank you for putting up the membership tag. Sergeant Aaron Cross. We've talked about this guy before. President of the Pima County Deputies Organization, the police union representing the sheriff's deputies, told TMZ on Saturday about the issues stemming from errors by staffers he said were unqualified for the major case. Yep. The lead detective on the case, who had never worked a homicide before, was placed in there nearly immediately. Hello, one of my pips, Jean Newbeck. Welcome back in. Cross emphasized that the initial mistake came from leadership and that a probe this complex required far more background experience. You think? People, I got 74 people in the house right now and only 10 thumbs up. Can we hit those thumbs up? Can we hit the subscribe button? I am currently at the beginning of this show. I am at 8650. Command, for whatever reason, decided that despite the fact that he hadn't been in homicide before, he was the right person for that unit. Thank you, Connie, for throwing up the custom emojis. He placed the blame directly on Sheriff Chris Nanos, who was recently slapped with a $176 million lawsuit alleging dangerous incompetence on a different case, claiming such a decision was almost unheard of prior to Nanos taking office. Yeah, and you know what? I know sheriffs and cops that have been sued before, and the organization only covers you up to a certain point, and the rest of it, you're on your own. You're on the hook for it. It'll take a while, or it takes a while to learn the ropes. Yeah, you think? I didn't get this experience in the first year of me being a detective. 35 years full-time, 7 years extraordinarily part-time, because of the medical nightmare of my life. But I still learn stuff even today. In the early stages, investigators suffered from a lack of communication that often led to duplicate work. Now think about that. If you've got multiple detectives out there and they're duplicating the work, they're losing precious time when you need to have this solved in the first 24 to 48. Hey, Julie, and hey, Rose, welcome in. The issue was that there was a lot of duplication of work because we weren't accurately tracking who had been spoken to. Yeah. Cross said identifying those as the initial missteps. In my opinion and the opinions of other detectives and many people in the community, the scene was just given up so quickly. I think the next day it was given back to the family. Yes, it was. Patricia, you just gave me the first jewel of the day. Thank you. It was turned over to the family the very next day. Heck, the ransom notes hadn't even come in yet. Oh, yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Cross also told TMZ that while it was well known local investigators harbored animosity against the FBI, it remained unclear whether the tension directly impacted the investigation. Exactly, Rose. Poor work. Addressing the public, Sergeant Cross pointed out the apparent lack of outreach to the public. We've been talking about this. If you drove to Tucson right now, except for a single billboard along the freeway, one, you would have no idea that the crime ever happened. There are no posters or reward pamphlets being handed out other than a few YouTubers who took that upon themselves recently. Additionally, Cross noted a breakdown in the department's reach into Tucson's local networks. Yeah, it's the YouTubers that are out there handing out the flyers, and they're spending money out of their own pocket to do so. Typically, in a case like this, our street detectives would go out and speak with our local criminal element. That's what I would do as a detective. Like I said, first I'd do my interviews, then I'd have my surveillances going, but there would be boots on the ground going knockety knock knock, especially in the homeless population, because those people, they know everything that's going on, and they're not all mentally ill and on drugs. There's a lot of street people that know exactly what's going on. Whenever I've had homicides and I can't get information, where do I go? I go out on the streets. I'll just go to like a fast food restaurant that's near and, see a homeless guy on a bicycle and be like, hey, yeah, you hungry? You need something to eat? Like, I'm looking for so-and-so, or do you know anything about, and within about 5 or 10 minutes, the person I'm trying to find, and there's like 75,000 homeless people in LA, will show up at that exact location. Like, hey, I hear you were looking for me. It's that easy. You just have to have the guts to go out and do it. Now, can it be dangerous? Yeah, you can get yourself killed. I never said that my job was safe, but, why are these detectives not out gathering information, even if they were just doing so on an undercover basis? It says, because what people need to understand about Tucson is that it's kind of a big little city. That's a very good description. A big little city. And there's 1 degree, not like 6 that I said in my videos, but 1 degree of separation from everybody here. Okay? 1 degree of separation. Okay? So from now on, instead of me talking about the 6 degrees of separation, we're going to talk about the 1 degree of separation, because Tucson is kind of a big little city. Remember, Tucson is 20 minutes away from Tucson. LA is like an hour or 2 away from LA. It's completely different ballgame there. He added, what we would often do is have the street detectives, those units that used to exist, go out, kick the bushes, rattle the cages. It's called kicking the tires. Okay. Frequently until something turned up, because the bad guys talk to each other by and large. Thank you, Connie. I just saw that. The fortune cookie. That was very cute. I have never seen that one before. Patricia. Tomas, also known as Tomaso, Tommy, Tomato, is 1 degree of separation. Need to get a wake-up call. Fox Mulder. Oh, Fox Mulder. I just heard some information about you and Agent Dana Scully today, for real, in the news. That looks like Arizona. Yes, it is. That's Nancy Guthrie's estate. Read it close. Hello. People watch. They see things. Of course they do. Nancy Guthrie was last seen while being dropped home by family on the evening of January 31st. You know, some of these homeless people, maybe they're not aware that there's a $1.2 million reward. Somebody knows something. Why are people not talking? Sheriff Nanos couldn't immediately be reached for comment. You think? Since they threw his behind under the bus. Julie, storming here. Signal is lagging. Have a good night. Oh, where are you at, Julie? Fox Mulder, I agree. The truth is out there. It absolutely is. This may be a mystery to the Pima County Sheriff's Department, but this is not a total mystery where this was a one-man gig and he got lucky and nobody knows anything. Absolutely not. There's a lot of people in the little big city of Tucson because it's a little big city. Not a big little city, but a little big city. And everybody knows everybody. Look at that first video that I did on the suspects. And that was months and months and months ago. It's on my video tab. It's in my Nancy Guthrie playlist. It's in my true crime playlist. Go see that video. And I just gave up on it because the editing was so excruciating. And then what did I made like 40 cents or something on that video because nobody was watching my long form back then. Kelsa says, and on top of that, TNA's son is MIA and school has started. You know, I was just wondering about that, Kelsers, because remember when all this happened earlier this year, some of the media was looking for Tommaso's name on the website of the school where he used to work, and his picture wasn't there anymore. And they didn't know, like, well, has that been down all year? Has he been, because some people that are locals to Tucson have told me in my lives that he hadn't taught for the whole year. Now, can I confirm that? No, because apparently he's not on the school's website anymore. So who was earning an income? Julie, Rose, it's a solvable case. It was, but now the evidence has just been destroyed. There's a storm brewing in Alabama too. You know what? I'm so jealous. There's nothing here. It's just hot and humid and gross. And we don't typically get very much humidity here. I mean, it's not dry like Vegas dry because that would be terrible. That's awful. Oh my God. The locals know a lot but are not talking. And I wonder why that is. You're an investigator too. I'm the real deal, Fox Mulder. AJW, don't know who that is, Christy, is spreading the word in the homeless community. He's doing a great job. Well, thank him for whoever he is. Deanna, I have never in a missing persons case ever heard of or seen professional searchers be denied over and over and over. Well, volunteers, just regular people. Yeah, you got to wonder why that is. Seems like maybe the department, there could be some possible, alleged, rumored, can't prove it, corruption involved. Neighbors were told not to talk. The family is hiding. The sheriff double talks. It's all so strange. Yes, it is, Connie. Bemis, I'd heard that rumor too, but I don't know if it's true because that's where Cameron lives. I have seen several people saying that A&T are living in Vermont. Could be. I'd love to know for sure. Julie Lewis says their humidity is 100%. Well, where are you, Julie? Yuck. Joelle says there's a good chance that I'm in love with Aaron Cross. I don't even know what he looks like. Julie's in Ohio. Oh, yuck. Well, at least you have a change of seasons, though, in Ohio. Yeah, we're prepping here for El Nino. I really, you know what? I need to order some. I know I'm actually going to have 2 good YouTube checks, but they're going to pay for all my YouTube expenses. I need to earn a little more this month. Well, it won't come until the end of next month, but I need to start ordering some emergency supplies, not just for me, but for my pets, because there's all these people that are predicting that, look at all these earthquakes that are on the rim of fire that have hit all over the world, and the only place left that hasn't been struck is between California and Washington. But every other spot on the map, from Japan to Indonesia, somewhere in the middle of the Pacific Ocean yesterday, there was a 7.7. Oh my gosh. Even Venezuela, Colombia, they're like, the only place left is the San Andreas in California. And I can't go there in my mind because I would be so screwed. Ask her daughter, Savannah. She knows. Well, what does Savannah know? I think I know what you're getting at, the good spirit, but let us know. Remember, in my chat, you guys can say whatever you want, but everybody here on my channel that we discuss is innocent until proven guilty. Rose, where are you located? We are getting ready for a big quake. Where are you located, Rose? Let me know, Rosebud. Nanos is being investigated by the FBI. It's not public info, but I have a reliable resource that says he is, Oh, you're in Oregon, right? In the Cascade Zone? Oh, boy. End of times are here. I hope not, Ron. Gosh, I hope not. I have so much on my plate as is. Washington State. Okay. Wow. I would love to live in Oregon or Washington someday, but not in my lifetime. If I really had my choice, I want to go to Anchorage or Eagle River, Alaska. Yeah. Sasquatch country. Yes. Yes, that is Sasquatch country. For real. JLR is friends with and went over and talked to A&T's neighbor. The guy said he heard they were in Vermont too. He said they haven't been there at their house in months. Yeah, that's been a rumor that's been circulating for a while, but I have no proof of it. But it's possible. Just like on my Eagle video, somebody wrote a couple comments to me this morning saying they saw the video, the live from last night, and they loved it. And oh, by the way, don't worry, because they saw shadow this morning in one of the trees. But you know what? That's not reported by FOBBV, and they would probably have reported that on their recap. It's not been reported yet, so maybe not. Can't prove anything. But their house is sitting there empty. Who's paying for the house? Savannah can't be paying all the bills. I mean, she could, but she shouldn't. It's on JLR's live from yesterday. Guy had a lot to say. Oh, I'm sorry I missed that. Yeah, I think that would be cool to hear from a neighbor. That's pretty cool if JLR got an interview with the neighbor of A&T. That's another one too, Kelsers. I heard A&T are in Italy. I've heard that one too. Rose said she didn't see Shadow today. I haven't either. VMIS says, I'm sure Savannah is. Well, you shouldn't, Savannah. Because you know what? Annie and T, they should pay for their own dang bills. But, there's a lot of false rumors about Savannah as well. About all her PIs and how many and their backgrounds, and that wasn't even true. Now, could she have a PI? Absolutely. Could she have more than one? Possibly. I would hope so. Because the police aren't doing anything but destroying the crime scene, whether it's intentional or unintentional. And the FBI, they're not the lead investigators, so they're kind of stepping it down now. From what I'm hearing, the FBI is stepping it down. And there doesn't seem to be any sense of urgency with the Pima County Sheriff to solve this case. And that's so strange because remember, supposedly Sheriff Nanos and Tomaso, they're good friends. They go fishing together, allegedly, rumored, speculatively, that they're good friends. So you would think if, he's really good friends with the brother-in-law of Savannah, you would think that he would be trying extra hard to solve this case. Connie! Oh my God, Connie, you give so much to this channel. There we go. I'm giving you a heart. Everybody give Connie a thumbs up on the first super chat of today. Brian Ray, do you think the government has anything to do with Nancy being kidnapped? I sincerely doubt it. Anything is possible. Everything is on the table. Alien abduction is on the table, but is it likely? Not at all. Not in this case. Did she walk away? Absolutely not. They've got video evidence of a masked man. Hey, Kathy Doherty, welcome in, one of my pips. I think we will see how high up this case goes. It will wake up people. Remember, and we're not going to get political, but I can talk about them. And let's just think about this. Remember, there was a very important person who called Savannah ringy dingy dingy right after this happened and said, we'll give you anything you want. Remember, she got Mark Kelly involved, then Trump was involved. We're here for you. We'll give you anything you need. What has the federal government given? Even the FBI is not even on the same page with the police department or the sheriff's department. Where's all that help that was being offered? Where's all the help? Like they said, there's one billboard now. If you drove through the I-10 now in LA, that would just be called the 10 freeway. But in other states, they actually call federal highways interstates. There's one billboard. Except for the flyers, which are being handed out by the boots on the ground, there's no flyers. How come Annie Tommaso aren't in town going, we want to find our mother, here's a flyer, here's a reward? Why are they in hiding? I want to know. And now, is it possibly related to their security and the security of their child? Very possibly. Because 80 to 85% of the people believe that they are involved, even if they're not involved at all. And I'm not saying that they are or they are not. I'm more focused on front porch guy and getaway driver. That's where my mind goes. Because I'm, with the theory of the chef and the waiters, I'm more interested in the waiters and getting those people first. And then it'll all come out. 77 people in the house, only 37 thumbs up. What is this? My gosh. I've got $1.91 in jewels. Thank you. I got a $2 super chat. And of course, Connie graciously gifted 5 more members. That means we're down to maybe 7. So 7 people. You should come join the channel, and we'll have another custom emoji that'll be up by tomorrow. Rose said they wanted to go away. Nancy might have seen and know something that she was not supposed to see. And they got her. I doubt it. Could be. Depends on what kind of aliens you're talking about. Not in this case. Anything is possible at this point, says V Miss 5. Why aren't her family stepping up? I know! If I had money, I'd send. You know what? I hear that at least once. A stream, you don't have to send money. But it's funny because I get people that come in here like, did you get it? Did you get my $200? I'm like, no. You don't have to send money. But if somebody wants to donate, they can. Let's see. Joyce G. Hello, Joyce. Welcome back. Haven't seen you for a while, my friend. Am I caught up on the chat? 62 people in the house. We're 29, almost 30 minutes into this. Little green men are impossible, but aliens from other countries is probable. I don't think so in this case because it's more closely connected. some illegal alien from across the border wouldn't know all the ins and outs of that neighborhood and that property and that house. If they weren't silent and hiding, people might not think they are guilty. If they weren't silent and hiding, people might not think they are guilty. Okay, I don't understand what you're trying to say. If they, you mean the kidnappers? Or do you mean they, the family? If they weren't silent and hiding, people, they might not think they're guilty. Denise, thank you for the floating heart. Thank you for coming in. A&T, okay. If A&T weren't silent and hiding, people might not think they are guilty. Oh, okay, yeah. Now ding, 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 I got it. Remember, I go dyslexic on here sometimes. Jackie, good evening, April, Pips, and Peeps. You mean the Peps? The Pips are the PI posse, and the Peps are the non-members sitting on the sideline. Shadow was on TP this AM on Cam 2. You know, I just looked at the FOBBV recap before I got on the air, Jackie. Has it been updated? I looked before I got on the air because somebody wrote me saying they saw my video last night and they sent me a comment and they're like, oh, I love you. I love your video, blah, 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 blah. And don't worry because they saw Shadow this morning. What is TP? Cam 2 TS. Okay, I heard this from a viewer, but it wasn't on the recap. And I talked about that earlier, even though this is a Nancy Guthrie video. But that's good to know, Jackie. Oh, I believe you. Thank God. Oh my God. Because I know that KD1 has been seen in the basement again underneath the nest, doing some little housekeeping. Christy, 2 nights ago, JLR was downtown Tucson asking people about Nancy, and most did not know who she was. And you know, Christy, I believe that. I believe that. A lot of the people on the streets, including the homeless, are probably like, who? What are you talking about? They've never heard of this. But yet the whole world is watching. Brian Ray, if I had to assume Nancy could have witnessed something like a murder or a drug deal that went south, and she was seen, so they got her to cover their tracks. I highly doubt this because this was a very long planned out operation. If it was something like that, it would have been a real quick bang bang. And this wasn't quick. This was planned way in advance. Hopefully FBI has a press conference soon. I think they will wait until after DC court date. You know, that's interesting. I had put him out of my mind for a while. Because doesn't he have a court date at the beginning of September? And that seemed like such a long ways away for someone who's in an involuntary rehab situation. Oh, timestamp. Okay, thank you, Jackie. Let me go back. Okay. What was TP? Oh, the Twin Pines. Okay, Shadow was on Twin Pine this AM on Cam 2, timestamp 6:50 through 7:05. See, I heard this, but it wasn't on the recap when I looked today. But, you know, they're relying on volunteers, so they may be a little bit behind. But thank you for letting me know. Oh, thank God. I was so worried. Just checked it again. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, I've been so worried. Why did LD go free? I've heard two things, that he went free, and then I've heard that he just has another hearing. So I need to look into that. I didn't hear that he was given an innocent. I heard that his case was continued. And he, you know, he's not in jail. He's on a bond, so as long as he shows up, he can remain on that bond. But I have to look into that, Connie, because, you know, there's conflicting information coming into my comments. What'd you miss on Nancy? Oh, I just went over a report. They didn't have enough evidence on LD to keep him. Did they drop the case or drop the charges? Is that what we're saying here? That it was dropped? Or was it dropped or was it continued? Could it still be the daughter and the creepy husband? Anything is possible, Brian Ray. Oh, they dropped all charges on DC. Okay. Well, actually, that case is due back in court in September. But LD, let me know, was his case continued or were charges dropped on LD? Happy birthday, Joyce. Everybody throw out a happy birthday to Joyce G. Yeah, DC has a September court date coming up. Absolutely. Welcome in, Paul. You mean LD's case was dropped, Eileen? I'll have to take a look at that. Julie Lewis! The second super chat of the day. Thank you so much. Everybody give Julie Lewis a like on her super chat. It all helps people. Eileen says, yes, it was dropped. Oh, that's interesting. I couldn't change the amount. Oh, you mean on the super chat? Yeah, I think you have to like slide the bar or something. I'm not sure how it works. I mean, I do. I can see that it's an Apple one based on how they charge to $1.99 rather than $2. Like if it said 2, it would be a desktop or an Android. But I think there's like a little slide bar or something. Christy, they said DC, all charges dropped because JLR was in Tucson to go this week to a hearing. Someone called the courts and confirmed. I didn't know that. Thanks for letting me know. That's interesting. Wow. Brian says somebody knows something and is scared to say something. I think that's exactly the case. I think there's a lot of somebodies that know something, and for some reason, they're scared to say, because this is all going to be a shocker, people, when it comes out. It stinks. Absolutely. Yeah, this is the most unusual alleged kidnapping that's ever occurred. Now, the FBI agent I consulted with, who's not working on this case, said, well, it is technically a kidnapping because they did take her from her home, supposedly. And I think they did, based on the blood evidence and based on the evidence in the house and based on the when and where the pacemaker somehow unsynced. And well, I don't know if they could tell where, but, the heart rate in conjunction with things that were seen on the camera and the timing. And, I do think she came home that night and something happened at the house, especially the oxygenated blood, the aspirated blood that had the oxygen in the droplets. So they claim. Julie, you just slide the bar under your message. Thank you, Connie. That's what I was trying to say. Oh God, I wouldn't be able to survive without my mods. So DC isn't going to court in September. Derek Kelsa is going to court in September. But we're talking about LD and DC. Or are we talking about, are we talking about Luke or are we talking about Derek? Okay, Christy, let me go back. I may have misspoke. They said DC, all charges dropped because JLR was in Tucson to go to this week to a hearing. Someone called the courts and confirmed. Well, I don't know how they could do that when he hasn't even had his hearing. Okay. Are you confusing this story with the Luke Daly story? Yeah. Emerald Eyes, I just asked Google and it said that his court date is September the 10th. Derek Kelsa. Yes. He's not even out of rehab yet, as far as I know. Yeah, as far as I know, DC is still going to court in September. Did you mean, Christy, when you typed that, did you mean Luke Daly? Or did you mean Derek Kelsa? Because both of them have or had pending cases. And remember, KD, and I'm not talking about KD won the Eagle, but I'm talking about Mrs. or Miss KD in Tucson. As far as I know, I didn't check today, but I think she's still in the slammer. Julie Lewis. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. And thank you, Connie, for letting her know how to do that. Everybody give Julie a like. That's our second super chat today. Much appreciated. Yeah, KD is still in the slammer. I thought so. I just, this is such a long case, and there's so many cast of characters in this three-ring circus that I can't even keep up with it all anymore. I did hear that the YouTubers, the boots on the ground, that they are actually having a dinner tonight with one of Nancy's neighbors. Katie is still in the slammer. Mimi, happy Sunday, April. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you. I have to be very careful what I say here because I don't want to say anything that's not confirmed or is misinformation. I think maybe a deal has been struck between LD and Pima County Sheriff's Department to drop charges in return for him not to sue them. That could be. But that seems a little dirty. Like, oh, we know you did this criminal act, but, we're going to drop the charges if you look the other way about what we did to you and your mom. Because I'm not 100% sure that he's not somehow possibly involved in this three-ring circus through the 1 degree of separation, but maybe not. If he's not, I wish the best for him. Julie Lewis, thank you, everyone. That's what I get for quitting law school. I'm an airhead now. No, YouTube is hard, Julie. And speaking of that, I feel so dumb because you know what's all happened like within the last 2 to 3 weeks? I went from 3660 to like 8300 and it's just, the wheels are spinning now. The wheels are turning. And I said probably about 1,000 times, like, well, I'm not really successful because it took 6 years and 7 months. It'll be 8 months at the end of this year or at the end of this month. Math was my best subject in school. I made A's from first grade all the way through college in math. And let me tell you, it's not been 6 years and 7 months. It's been 5 years and 7 months. So I lost a whole year somehow. It's only been 5 years and 7 months to get to 8K. Now, it did go from 2K to 3K to 4K to 5K to 6K to 7 to 8 very, very quick, which was totally unexpected. And let me see where I'm at now. 8652. Like what? I gained 2 this whole show? Hard to believe. I'm convinced the letters were all red herrings. Look here, not there. That is something that I talked about from the beginning when these ransom notes started coming in, that they may be red herrings. They make no sense at all. Yeah, nobody says ringy dingy dingy, or sends a ransom note, and then a few days later, before the expiration date is up on the money, to say, oh, well, just forget the whole thing because she's dead. Sorry, goodbye. That just doesn't happen. And ransom notes are typically left at the scene of the crime, or at the very least, they would be sent to the family, not TMZ. And remember, Derek Colella, when he sent the text ransoms, which he admits to, he never said, oh, this is regarding Nancy Guthrie, or this is regarding a kidnapping, and this is where you send my money. Hey, how about that Bitcoin? We're waiting to complete the transaction. What transaction? What Bitcoin? And he knew about those first ransoms that came in that were demanding 4 million and then 6 million in Bitcoin. Like, if you wanted to pretend to be that person, you would give a Bitcoin address. I understand how this works now because since this case started, I got interested in digital currency, and I actually opened up a Coinbase account and I bought a Tangent wallet, and I actually have a wee fraction of a Bitcoin now because I was like, I need to learn how this works. And the address, it's like 100 letters and numbers and symbols long for your wallet address. It's not just something you could write down and say, here, it's 12345. Here's my address. Like, no, it's some big number that you have to cut and paste, and it's complicated. And why would Annie and Tommaso, who, by the way, happen to have their personal cell numbers, and he even called one of them on the phone, but he didn't say, hey, this is where I want you to send the money. Like, you would make a ransom demand by text and not tell the family where to send the money? And then the third set of ransoms that went to TMZ, and there was about a dozen or more of those, they were very specific about in US dollars. Almost as if somebody from another country might somehow be involved. That's just a very weird thing to say, that I want the ransom, but I want US dollars. Look at the JonBenet Ramsey ransom. And by the way, the ringleader there knew exactly or close to the amount of John Ramsey's bonus that he got at his company. Yeah, they knew. And I can't tell you how they knew, but the ringleader of that knew that he had that bonus. And those people were idiots. And it was a case of just like here in Pima County, where they didn't have the right detectives on the scene of the crime. But did they say in that note, we want 17,000 or 18,000 in US dollars? No. Like, that's a clue right there. Well, Lisa, I'm not coming on tomorrow because I have medical crap. So I'm here today. They're coming to get April's Bitcoin. Nope. The address is like, I don't even know my Bitcoin address. But if you want to send me some, I can send you my wallet address. Send it over. Or better than that, you could just make a donation and I'll go out and buy my own Bitcoin. How about that? It's very complicated. And so how would you write a ransom text to somebody and say, hey, how about my Bitcoin? Or what about that Bitcoin? But not provide the address? Because remember, the person who wrote the first and the second note, that's not the same set of people that wrote the text messages. That's a separate issue. And then you have the third set of ransoms, I call them the third set, that, were very hyper-focused on, well, now I need one, well, now I need a half, and if you send this, but then you do this, and I'll get that, and then you'll get this, and it's ridiculous. It's ludicrous. That's not the way ransoms work. And if you remember, if you've been watching me from the beginning on this, and I couldn't name names, I could not name names, but someone in my family, before I was born, decades before I was born, was kidnapped for ransom. I know how it works. Quentin Broom, the fourth super chat of the day. How many minutes do we have left on the goal? 12 minutes and 27 seconds, people. Thank you. Let me go over to the right screen so I can heart that. Everybody give Quentin a thumbs up on the generous super chat. Yeah, so I actually opened up an address. If I still had it in front of me, I think no, I don't have it in front of me. I could show you the little wallet. It's about the size of a credit card. And it's thick. And always have a backup, because if you lose that, there goes your Bitcoin. You'll never be able to access it again. It's not like it's in a bank where you could just walk into like a Bank of America or a Wells Fargo or a Chase or a US Bank. No. It's, now they even have rings that you can buy. You can buy a little ring, but they only make them in like a band, like a men's band. And you can just go and scan that ring like on the back of your phone, just and access your wallet. It's crazy. And then you can send somebody, like you can send somebody your address, and then they can just like shoot money into your wallet. just by having the wallet address. It's crazy how it works. And you can pay for stuff. You could just go scan and put in your code and, pay this person. Scan, scan, scan. They even have Coinbase ATMs now, which is crazy. But, I'm not an expert at it, like, going to the bank with an ATM card and withdrawing money. It's just, it's bizarre. And if you see a transaction, like you see a picture of it on the chain, it's called the blockchain. It's crazy. It's the weirdest. It's like an alien language is all I can say. But I know enough that I was able to set up the account and set up the wallet. But it's not even one Bitcoin, because one Bitcoin is like what, $65,000 right now. It's a fraction. Kelsa's A&T are hiding because they are guilty, not because they are scared. And the weekend Nancy went missing was a big Wiccan weekend. Yeah, a Wicca weekend. If I'm not wrong, I'll be the first to admit it. I think A&T are guilty. You know what? A lot of people, 80 to 85% of the population believes that. Like I said, I've always been more focused on the waiters. Matthias, welcome in. Good evening, April. How's it going? I'm here, Margaret. Saw you were live. Thank you for coming, Pauline. Look at all the pips coming in. And at the start of the show, I needed 12 more to open the 14th emoji. And Connie generously donated another 5 after donating 10 memberships yesterday after I donated the 5. So since yesterday, we've got like 20 more members. There's still another 11 members needed before I can unlock emoji number 14. But welcome in, pips. Mostly Dallas Helicopters. There's another one right there. There's one of my Canadian pips. I love when my Canadians come in. Nature Walks In. There's another one. Yeah, didn't you just recently receive one? Welcome in, Nature Walks In. There are definitely waiters, but A&T are the chefs. Could be. But I think we need to go after the waiters. It'll be easier to throw the book at the chefs. And let me tell you, if tomato, Tommaso, Tommy, Tomas, whatever you want to call him, if he is involved in this, then so is Annie. There's no two ways about it. Either they're both involved or they're not involved. There's no way that she's going to go, oh, I had no idea. No, that's never going to happen in this case. They're either involved or they're not involved. And once again, may I remind you that everybody that we talk about, whether it's in the comments or the chat or on a video, everybody here is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Not even an arrest would be enough for me to go, I knew it. No. Love the twin jersey since I'm a twin. This is the Minnesota Twins, but that's pretty cool. You're a twin. I just got on who are the 2 people you are speaking of. We were just talking about Nancy Guthrie, day number 197. Connie says, in my opinion, A&T are the chefs. A lot of people believe that. I'd be able to say more yes or no if I were investigating the case. But if I were investigating the case, then obviously I couldn't talk about it. But would I be able to figure it out if I were a PI in Arizona at the moment? Sure, I think I would have. My Minnesota Twins, Miss April. Absolutely. I think it would be great to go to the stadium for the Twins when they built that new Target field. Maybe they were bait unknown to themselves. We don't know. But it sure is funny how people that they're friends with somehow may be covering up what happened in this case. Joyce says, I go back and forth. I really don't know anymore. I don't know either. Your badge is right there. Well, not your badge. You got your star. You don't get a badge because you're not a mod, Margaret. Denise, I'm not sure that A&T are involved. Either am I. The only thing to put T in the frame is that he was the last known person to see her alive. Exactly. A&T cooking up spaghetti. What does that mean? Matthias, bye for now. Welcome or thank you for coming, Matthias. Nice to see you. Which badge can you not see? I see your stars. The little badge that's next to Kelser's name and Connie's name, those are moderator badges. But the Mostly Dolls helicopters, who is a pip, you should see a little star next to your name. I can see it. And let me look at it on the computer. Yeah. The badges are just for the mods. Hashtag justice for Nancy. Amen, Jane Rice. Amen. The chefs, Quentin Broom says. Don't know. But I guarantee you that it's either money or revenge, and it's either the celebrity Savannah factor or it's somebody that's close for sure that would know the inner workings of the neighborhood, the property, the alarm systems, the cameras, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it could be a combination of the two, the Savannah factor and somebody close. No, sometimes the star isn't there. Oh, I can see it on my end, on my screen. Is that what you're saying, that you can't see the stars? Nature walks in, agree 100%, a double 100%. I feel like it's revenge. Maybe otherwise reward money would have been taken. That's an interesting thought. Why hasn't the reward money been claimed? Oh, you mean the member badge? I thought you meant the moderator badge. Probably just a glitch. Okay, I can see it on the screen I'm recording on, and I can see it on the desktop that's behind the screen I'm recording on or in front of. I can see them, but there are often YouTube glitches. You might want to sign out and sign back in, because I can see it on my end. Oh, and by the way, when I forgot the mics for the first 32 minutes of last night's live, and then I put them on, and then the fire department showed up and I had to run out and talk to the firemen and make sure my building wasn't on fire. When I came back, people were like, there's something wrong with the mics. And then I noticed that the light wasn't blinking down on the receiver. And I'm like, uh-oh. I plugged them in last night. I tested them. And so far, they're fine. So I don't know what was going on last night. Just some bad mojos. But today, they are fine. Thank God I have my backups from Sassy Granny. Yeah, she sent me those. Through the Amazon wish list store, which has died, everybody. I thought about taking it down. Some of you guys were like, you should leave it up. I don't know. I don't know if it's helping me or hurting me at this point because it has died. I'm getting pop-ups. Oh, somebody's writing me on this these Eagle videos. So let me turn that off right now so I can see you guys. Jason E. Minor, my friend, how are you doing, Jason? I was just going through your box of stuff like 2 nights ago. I was, because I have a big box of stuff from the gold community, and I was going through it. And I was like going through your stickers and your little like freebies that you throw in with your gold. And I was just thinking about you. Do you think Savannah paid some ransom? No, I don't think so. She said we did our part. Yeah, we don't know what that means, but no, I don't think she did. Also, I wonder if A&T and Michael Feldman were close. I doubt it. I mean, think about it. You got the gangsta looking dude and the witch, allegedly. And then you got little sweet Savannah and her alleged Clinton cleaner husband. Like, opposite ends of the planet. They probably have never even spoken on the phone before. How you feeling, Jason? I don't trust Michael Feldman. I don't know. I can't say that I do or I don't. I've sensed trouble in paradise, but I don't know if that's true. They've been married for quite some time. Their daughter, and I don't know, does anybody know, is her name Vale or Valey? Because I heard Savannah talking to her once in a video, and she called her Valey. And I always thought it was Vale. And I thought, well, maybe Valey's a nickname, or is that really her name? And he was out of town when she went missing. Yeah, he was on the little, the tennis trip with the boys. Still struggling a bit. Been hard to breathe in this humidity. I'm sorry, Jason. But I've been thinking about you, my friend. Yeah, he was. And I totally forgot about that. And then I was like, what? And I was like, oh, yeah, like, this is how long this case is, that I can't even remember some of the stuff that happened in the beginning. Because apparently I'm not a sharp anymore. Because I told everybody, Jason, that it took 6 years and 7 months to get to this point. It was 5 years and 7 months. And math was my best subject. So when I realized that last night, like, it's not been 6 years and 7 months. It's been 5 years and 7 months. And I'm like, why did I tack on an extra year? Math was my best subject. I worry about what's going on up here. Yeah, they celebrated her daughter's birthday this week. Yeah, and she's a little cutie. But is she Vale or is it Valey? Vale is her daughter's name. Perhaps Valey is a nickname. Yeah, because it's spelled V-A-L-E. But I always thought it was pronounced Vale. And when she did, like, there was a video that came out during this case where she was interviewing her mother, and she called her Valey or something, or she was talking to somebody and she called her Valey, and I'm like, well, which is it? Thank you for the red hearts on the screen. Everybody give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please do so. Let me see where we're at on the dashboard. The lives are not bringing in a lot of new subs, although last night's one on the Eagles, a lot, like 20 or 30 people subscribed during that. So I was like, wow, maybe I'm talking about the wrong thing. 8652. Good night, Jane Rice. Thanks for coming. And when Savannah's son was born, Savannah took him on the Today Show, and Michael was on his phone like he didn't care. I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised, because I just sense a distance there. Money talks. She's worth a lot of money. Quentin Broom says good night. Are you saying good night to us, or are you saying good night to Jane? April Jenkins, another April in the house. That's very unusual. Thank you for coming in, April. It's not hard to add a year, says Jason. Okay. That husband of hers. Yeah, I'm the same way with autocorrect. Kelser's, I just don't like him either, and I don't know why, because I've never even met the man, and he could be a total sweetheart, but there's something about him that rubs me the wrong way. Jackie will take you to the top. Thank you, Nature Walks In. Joyce, I've been so into this story, I can't get my housework done or my cooking done. What days I have, but I wouldn't change it for nothing. Nancy, we still love you. Absolutely. I still want her found. I'd still like to know what the FBI's been looking for the last few weeks out in the Wash area. Because the rumor is, oh, well, because of the monsoonal storms, it kind of moved things around, and now they're looking again. But why are they looking again? Margaret Lund says, I don't like them either. And then she puts up an Amelia Kinsley emoji. Oh, and I just saw this. It was blocked by my hair before, but Nature Walks In. Thanks for putting up the little eagle emoji. Yeah, I was thinking about doing a custom. Okay, something just rolled off my desk. Oh, it was my lipstick. I was thinking about doing an eagle emoji, and then I realized that YouTube already has one. If I can earn enough members for one more, I think I'll put the turkey up, because then we'll have Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas covered. Because right now we've got 2 Halloween ones and 1 Christmas one. Honestly, I don't think she will ever be recovered. The longer it goes, Nature Walks In, the less of a chance that they have of recovering her, even if they make an arrest. And they can still get a conviction without a body, especially in a case like this. It's very, very possible, but the longer it goes, the much, much less of a chance of finding any remains as every day passes forward. Carson Triple C. It says my goal has ended, and I'm just going to set a temporary let me just set it for 15, so it keeps flashing at me. Let me say all colors. And then you guys can choose if you choose to do so, but you don't have to. But yeah, now that the Rash of Jackie videos are over, it's going to be back to me just earning a couple of bucks, on my lives. And that's going to be it. But, gosh, I would do anything for Jackie to still be with us and for Nancy to still be with us. I mean, I'm glad I met all you guys, but I wish it had been under better circumstances. If they would tell where the remains are, I think it would front them off. Okay, I'm confused. Okay, let me go back. They found an old lady's bones about 5 miles from the place in a wooded area, and they are too decrepit to ID. I thought of Nancy, but I doubt it. Are those the ones that were found just this last week? And they said that it wasn't Nancy? I think if they would tell where the remains are, I think it would front them off. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't know either, Kelsers. I hadn't heard if it was a male or a female. I heard it was just bones that had been there a long time. Sue C., welcome in. I always wondered if the FBI thoroughly searched those backyard septic systems. It bugs me that Pima County released the crime scene. That's the #1 issue, Sue, in this case. And I'm not a police detective, but I am a real life detective for 42 years. And I can't fathom why that was done. And all that evidence was at the front door and right off the front steps. And, half of the United States traipsed across that yard and that front porch, and the blood and the weeds that were pulled out of the bush, and the Amazon guy, the pizza guys, the news guys, even Brian Hinton's crew went up there and took video, because it was just open. The family was given the house back a day later. That was even before the first ransom note showed up. We've still got shadow. That's what I'm hearing, Lisa. Because I checked before I went on the air and it wasn't showing, and then somebody came into this chat and said it's now on the FOBBV recap. I'm like, oh my God, my heart. I can't handle anything more that's happened. I just could not. That would be, I'm done. I'm finished, everybody. If something happened to Shadow too. Oh, Denise, are you in England? I didn't know that. Welcome in. I know exactly what you mean, Joyce. I live in England, so have not had much sleep since this case started. Me neither. I've been following since day one. Me too. I heard about this the night of February 1st. And as a PI, I yelled out from my bed like, oh my God, Savannah Guthrie's mother's been kidnapped. And that was long before this was reported as a kidnapping, because it was like it was implied that it was a missing senior type of situation. You know, when the report first came out, and me being a PI and a Hollywood PI with my background, I was like, oh my God, Savannah Guthrie's mother has been kidnapped. And Cameron, he reacted the same way when he talked to Savannah. And I didn't even know about blood or future ransom notes or, you know, what appeared to be a dragging out of her bed. And I didn't know anything about the pacemaker or the rapid heart rate. We didn't know about front porch guy till like day 9 or 10. Like, that was just immediately. That's the first place my mind went to because of the Savannah factor. And then as time went on and we started learning all these details, I'm like, this isn't just some random Yahoo. This is somebody that knows that neighborhood, knows those streets, knows the property, knows the inside of the property, the outside, the doors, the cameras, everything. Even if they do actually make an arrest because of how this investigation was bungled, it's going to take one hell of a prosecutor to get them convicted. I agree, especially, and I've said this, if they have like a high-profile defense attorney. It'll be like the OJ case with the high-profile attorneys, and they'll be like, he's innocent, even though they know he did it. And some of the jurors even admit, like, yeah, we thought he was guilty, but we let him go because of Rodney King. Like, it would literally give me chills if she was this close to me. If who was close to you? What did I miss? I mean, the perp would get caught due to location of remains. Let me go back. Nature walks in. Oh, okay. If they would tell where the remains are, I think it would front them off. I mean, the perp would get caught due to location of remains. Yeah. Yeah, the bones were found in Tucson. Remember, nature is beautiful and cruel at the same time. Yes. Yes, and following me from the beginning. Thank you. Hi, Brian Horde. Oh, there was bones about 5 miles from your house in Kansas. Okay, I'm totally confused here because last week there were bones found in Tucson. The crime scene was contaminated from the beginning. Absolutely. Perp was a decoy. Who was a decoy? You mean front porch guy? Adele. Hello? Adele Lee. That's a pretty name. Well, I'm kind of partial to A and K names. Could be. I have my thoughts about who's involved in this. And I'm still going with my original reports to the FBI, both verbal and written, that a person that I have been interested in is involved in this, even if this person is not front porch guy. I doubt they are Nancy's bones, but it still sent shivers up my spine. Yeah, you know what? Bones are everywhere in the big city and in the desert. I think front porch guy was the driver. He never entered the house. Interesting. I'm still going with at least 3 people involved in this, possibly even as much as 5. My guess is 3 to 5. But that's without knowing anything private here, just what's known to the public. Margaret Lund says 3. I sure want to know. I want to know where the heck is A&T? Annie, Tommaso, Tomas, Tomato, Tomato, Toms. Where are You. Nature walks in, says 3 to 5. I think 3 to 5 too, says Kelsers. Denise Gooding also says 3 to 5 people. But you know the FBI agent that I consulted with? And he'd only been following this case for the first month. He didn't even know who Nancy's family was. He didn't know anything about this case. And he said, it's probably just one lone person. And I'm like, it's impossible because they would have had to know that house and that neighborhood. And, I've talked to people that live in this neighborhood that have come into this channel. And, even the YouTubers on the ground, the boots on the ground are like, even with GPS, it's hard to get in and out of there. Like, you have to know it. You can't see 3 feet in front of you in the dark. Now, it was a full moon that night, and it was a large full moon. It was very bright, but still, it's dark. And somebody knew the inner and outer workings of that property. So I very strongly disagree with the FBI agent, but yet I've never been an FBI agent. And he said that he thought it was one person and that sometimes people just get lucky. I don't believe that in this particular case at all. I agree sometimes kidnappings are one people and sometimes people get lucky. But you don't send notes to TMZ and to the news stations and it's not delayed like that. And Emerald Eyes, yes, the 3 stooges at the scene and 2 masterminds behind the scenes. That is very, very possible, Emerald Eyes. But the one person that I'm focused on the most can unravel this whole thing. Kelser says, Italy is what I think too, Margaret. Margaret says Italy. I didn't see that. Denise says, no, definitely not one person. Absolutely no way. I would believe that as much as I would believe Patsy Ramsey walking through my front door right now, rising from the dead and confessing her guilt. I'd be like, liar, liar, pants on fire. Does the kid have school? We don't even know where they are. He should have school. He's a minor. No way could one person pull this off. Absolutely not. And you don't spend 41 or 42 minutes at minimum in a house where you're coming to kidnap somebody. You just don't. You don't. And if you're a police department or a sheriff's department investigating such crime, and you don't know what the whole story is, you don't release a crime scene to the family who were the last people to see her. Oh my gosh. Now, the only way we could prove, unless Annie Tommaso have cameras like in their house and they've got it on film that she actually went to dinner there, technically the last person to see her was the female Uber driver who dropped her off at that house. And I think people are barking up the wrong tree about Wiccans. They do not do human sacrifice, okay? What about a wheelchair? There were some kind of tracks in front of those steps. See the front door? That's where the blood was. And then see the little steps right here? There was some tracks that were right there that led to the driveway. And they got destroyed. But I've also seen some highlighted photos where it appears there's a man walking with someone over their shoulders. And front porch guy, a couple times, he looks behind him like he's looking at somebody. Do you think the U.S. Marshals could be in on this if they are overseas? I don't know. That's a good question, Kelsers. The family has directed the investigation since day one. And why is that? If the police department, or I should say the sheriff's department, because that's separate in Tucson, there's the Tucson PD and then there's the Pima County Sheriff's. If they are involved in some sort of cover-up, There needs to be consequences. Civil suits, prison time, loss of jobs. The more this goes on, this all seems fishy. Yes, there's nothing normal about this case. Denise says cover up. Because they are millionaire celebrities and are treated differently. They are treated differently. And that's why you would want to make sure that you dot the I's and you cross the T's on this case and you don't make a mistake. Because everybody's watching. Okay, it says my goal ends in 1 minute, and then I'm just going to close that out because I don't want that screen up there anymore. Strange, so strange. Maybe the family has more to do with this than we know. Remember, Savannah immediately got Mark Kelly involved. Ex-coworker, could be. Maybe Savannah has more to do with this than we know. I don't think she has more to do with the initial crime. Now, could she have more to do with this behind the scenes since? Absolutely. I hope Savannah, if the family's involved, and that's a big if. That's a big if. If they are involved, I don't want Savannah to be living in a dream world. Oh my God, I can't believe I've been on this long because I still got to go eat today. And my bunny, I can hear her behind me, like making noise, like, hey, are you going to feed me? I always thought it was about her going to the Olympics. I don't know. We don't know. But the person that I think is involved, even in the background, even if that person isn't Front Porch Guy, which, by the way, I think Front Porch Guy is definitely a man. Because a lot of people are like, oh, that's a woman. No, that's not a woman. That's a man. I'm still not changing my opinion on who I think is involved. I found the timing odd also, says Nature Walks In. Oh, you mean between this and Savannah getting ready to go to Italy? Everything is possible. Nothing is off the table. I can't get myself sued. And remember, this is an unsolved kidnapping. And you know that she's gone. She's no longer with us. So this is also a homicide as a result of a felony kidnapping. So no, I can't have somebody at my door coming after me. I can't have lawyers dropping off subpoenas at my mailbox, like, we're going to get you. Or summons and complaints because we're suing your butt. No, Savannah's back. Oh, Emerald says ZJ is sus. Maybe. Savannah Guthrie was in Manchester. Yes, she was. I had not heard that at all. Nancy was supposed to go with Savannah. I had not heard that. That's the first time I'm ever hearing that one. I know, Kelsers. I wouldn't be able to do a game show knowing my mother's been taken like this, but that's just me. Yeah, I can't even sleep at night. I'm not even related to this woman. I've never even met Savannah before, and I'm so vested in this. Yeah, I hadn't heard that, Margaret. There's been so many rumors in this case. When this first happened, everybody was like, oh, Tommaso, he's in Italy. No, he wasn't. He was still in Tucson. Denise, I'm from Manchester. Oh, I didn't know that. I was very tempted to go to the studios with a sign asking where Nancy was. As I've said before, I've looked for a missing cat more than they look for their own mother. Yeah, you don't come out of the house in your car and cover your faces and put a hoodie over your head and say, "Oh, look at me." Ah. I don't like the body language. I'm a detective. I saw that body language and I was like, oops, we have a problem here. Houston, we have a problem. As soon as I saw that, Houston, we have a problem. I have a problem with the fact that the car was taken for 41 or 42 days. I have a problem with that too. Especially for someone who's been cleared so quickly. Yeah, I get why you can't sleep. It's terrifying. Yeah, I hear every little bump in the night now, and I'm like, oh my God. I wouldn't be able to sleep if I was Nancy's neighbors. I've been looking at my security camera. I've been looking through the footage every night, and I saw this strange man when this first happened. I'm like, oh my God, there's a man outside my door at 4 o'clock in the morning, and he's carrying a backpack, and oh my God. And there's a lamp out there that doesn't work right, that they keep trying to just change the bulb, but it's not the bulb, it's the fixture, because this building is just full of electrical issues. And I was like, oh my God, there's a strange man. It turned out it was that new neighbor that lived upstairs in like one of the units upstairs, one of the smaller units. And it's like he was going to work as a security guard or something. And I saw that. I was like, oh my God, who's at my door? You know, like it's scary. Yes, I do, amongst other things, which I won't say here on a YouTube channel, but yes, I do have a Ring camera. I have a Ring doorbell amongst multiple other pieces of security equipment. And remember, I was trained back in the day, and I can't say the word, but we'll call it a boom boom or a pew pew. I was trained by the LAPD. Even though I've never been a police officer, I did have LAPD firearms training in college as a member of the Administration of Justice Club, and I was on their pew pew team. And I also competed at night when I first started my PI career, and I used to have a whole shelf load of trophies. I don't have them anymore, but I had a lot of trophies in that department, and I was trained by the LAPD pew pew instructors, just saying. And at times in my PI career, not now obviously because I'm 99.9% retired, but back in the day before I even had my own business going, I used to have the exposed permit that the PIs can be allowed to carry, but only exposed. But you can't walk around with an exposed pew pew, or someone will call 911 and say, "Lady with a pew pew." I used to work private security at billionaires' houses and on movie jobs and TV shows. And so it's like riding a bike. You never forget those skills. So I'm ready, but I am not going to come on my YouTube channel and make a public statement who I think is involved in this. Denise says there are so many questions that still need answering. And let me see. Where is she? I heard my little bunny because I can hear her little nails clicking on the floor. Are you under the sofa, bunny? I know she's trying to get my attention. She needs to eat dinner. I haven't even had lunch yet, so before you know it, it'll be time to go to bed so I can get up and go to my appointment tomorrow. I'm so tired of this medical crap. I'm just tired of it. But I'm so glad I have YouTube to help me keep distracted. And all my new members and my pips and my peps, I thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you for the super chats today. If you're still here, Connie, LA, thank you for the, once again, very generous gifted memberships. Thank you for the $1.96 in jewels. I hope everything goes good with your appointment. It's just a routine pain in the butt. But thank you, Kelsers. And if there's anything new to report, I can always come back on the air, but it probably won't be on a Sunday night. If you don't see me tomorrow, that's just because I'm taking care of business. Thank you for coming, everybody.